Well, what a pleasure it is to be here. My name is Caroline Carl, and I'm the Executive Director for Hawaii Energy, and I am honored and humbled to be in person with all of you and with my good friend and colleague, Rocky Mould here, the Executive Director of the Hawaii Solar Energy Association. So we have the noble task of talking about how more people can benefit from energy efficiency and rooftop solar in the next 14 minutes and 40 seconds. So bear with us. We have lots to share, and we hope that you'll share your questions with us as well. So there's been a ton happening in distributed PV over the last many years, but even quite recently. So I was hoping, Rocky, you would start us out with some of your thoughts about where we are. And don't worry, we're getting to efficiency, but why don't you kick us off?
Thanks, Caroline. Great to be here with you. Efficiency first, always, even from the DER perspective. Yes, there is a lot happening in the distributed energy world right now, and it's great to be here in Maui in person. Thanks to everyone who put this on for having us here. With the recent passing of Kali Judd, who is a founding member of the Hawaii Solar Energy Association, I've had a lot of time, really been thinking about our past and our history and what that can tell us about our future and lessons we can learn for our future. Hawaii, it really is a leader in renewable energy, and in particular in customer-sited renewable energy. As you can see in the chart on the right, we really have had massive growth in customer-sited solutions. We're now at about 93,000, maybe up around 100,000 rooftop solar systems out there right now at almost a gigawatt of capacity. With utility scale, actually, it's more than that now. So we really are looked to around the world globally as, sort of leading the charge in penetration of rooftop solar and energy storage, what we call distributed energy resources, or DERs. And in particular in Hawaii, with the chart on the left, really customer-sited rooftop solar makes up half of all of the renewable energy on an RPS basis added to our system over the years. And this really has been, a collaboration of industry, of market participants, of regulators, legislators, the utility, and other advocates, and policy choices that we have made along the way that have gotten us to where we are. We have, by orders of magnitude, not only rooftop solar, but also we are the leading jurisdiction when it comes to attaching storage to that PV, and that's super important as we decarbonize our economy and go to a 100% renewable grid. So while the solar boom took off, earlier, in the 2000s, in the aughts, really a watershed moment for me and for the DER industry was the 2014 release of the Public Utility Commission's inclinations on the future of Hawaii's energy system. And in that document, it talked about creating a customer-centric distributed grid of the future and really embracing this new grid that we were moving towards, this distributed customer-centric grid. And so Hawaii really has had a special place for customer solar. And even you saw in the decision on the NextEra merger, a lot of that was really about protecting our unique characteristics and our unique distributed market here that we have in Hawaii. If you look at performance-based regulation right now at the Public Utilities Commission, there's a big place for distributed energy resources in that as well. And now we have this groundbreaking program called the Battery Bonus Program, where we're actually utilizing customer-sited PV and storage to help us decarbonize our grid and close down the AES coal plant. Caroline, what about you? What's happening on the energy efficiency world right now?
Oh, goodness. Well, as I reflect on the last few years, I really think about how rewarding but challenging it has been in the world of energy efficiency. Last year, we launched our PY 22 to 24 triennial plan, which marked the 13th year of the Hawaii Energy programs as the efficiency administrator. We launched new program enhancements, the Power Move battery program, as well as our peak demand bonus, specifically to help with enrolling customers in commercial battery bonus, looking at the importance of efficiency leading to participation in grid services. The year itself, we accomplished over 20 megawatts of peak demand reduction to help with customer bill savings, but also to mitigate impacts of the AES coal plant shutdown on the grid. And as I reflect, since 2009, the Hawaii Energy programs have helped customers save over $2 billion in energy bill savings. But that being said, we are facing a critical time. Commercial project pipeline remains challenging. Supply chain, staffing shortages. We saw, throughout COVID, we saw a lot of activity in the efficiency space, but that has started to shift a bit, and we have a significant responsibility to help really move the needle forward as we're facing a lot more of these important interconnectedness. But really, what I wanted to highlight for just a moment are the big wins that we've had in community and small business. And I know a lot of the discussion this morning has been around community. So if you can go to the next slide for me. I wanted to highlight two of our community-based programs, our community-based energy efficiency, which is specifically targeted at building community relationships and offering a holistic set of efficiency solutions with the ultimate goal of leading to clean energy within individuals, residents, or their businesses. Last year, through our programs, we distributed highly discounted rate 489 appliances to residents. And it may not seem like that big of a deal, but if you have a failing refrigerator, or for that matter, a water heater, it's a really big deal. So between our water heating program, which we also focused on grid interconnectedness, which will come up in a later panel, we were able to change people's understanding of energy efficiency and also gain trust of community organizations and those that they serve. If you could go to the next slide. On the small business side, when COVID, the onset of COVID, we started an Empower grant program. So over the last 2 years, we have distributed over 400 grants totaling $3.8 million. And this is when businesses were shuttering, small restaurants were converting to takeout. So this is adding in commercial kitchen equipment. It's helping with lighting and air conditioning as people are in really uncomfortable, stifling positions. And this grant is gonna save these businesses money. And the most important piece of that is that we have folks that have come to be participants again in other aspects of our program. So by emphasizing these partnerships, we've been able to make a difference, but access still remains a critical issue. The savings that we're finding now is incremental. Last year, we processed over 19,000 rebates. That's approximately 15,000 individual customers that are coming through the program, through our allies. It's a day-to-day knocking on doors. And so while we love hearing about big-scale projects, we also know that the day-to-day for each of the customers that we're serving is critical. So I'm going to pass it back over to you, Rocky, and talk about what you're seeing about customer access.
Yeah, so they call it the solar coaster, and that's because I recounted some of our successes over the years, but we've also faced some significant headwinds in the industry over the years that have had a dramatic impact on the DER market, but also on our overall renewable energy goals and attaining those. Even with underlying fundamentals supporting solar, we face these challenges. And what that says is policy decisions we make and take are just super important in charting the course forward to achieve our renewable energy goals. This chart you see here shows permits on Oahu for solar PV. And you can see it spikes up in a hockey-like way to 2012. And then over the next few years, there were a few decisions, a Department of Taxation decision on how to the solar income tax investment tax credit, as well as the closure of the net energy meter program. These caused a hit, and we're now pulling ourselves sort of off the mat from those, and we're really on the cusp of designing new programs in the DER docket before the Utility Commission right now. We have advanced rate design and time of use in the offing. We have the new smart DER tariff, which is going to be the successor to net energy metering and provide, clear rules of the road for how to interconnect rooftop solar and storage going forward. We also have bring your own device or grid services programs that are similar to Battery Bonus, going to utilize customer-sited batteries and PV systems to provide grid services going forward. And so we really, need this collaborative effort going forward, and it really has taken, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears and hard work to get where we are. This slide here, as you heard in the prior panel, HECO just recently released its integrated grid plan. And what really caught my attention in the executive summary of the plan was looking at these pie charts. And I know you might not be able to see them very well, so I'll break them down for you. But these pie charts, what they show is the progress of our energy mix between 2022 and 2045. And this is a massive plan with really ambitious goals. And you can see, the hallmarks of this are going to zero non-renewables, zero fossil fuels by 2045. But really what we also see is a massive shift to utility scale solar in the next 8 years. And then after that, offshore wind really filling in the plan. And this might be a little controversial. From the solar industry standpoint, we actually think there could be a greater role for what we do in distributed energy resources in this plan. And we've made that public and advocated for that before the Public Utilities Commission, et cetera. And we will continue to do that. But just want to say that this is a Herculean effort, done collaboratively with the utility to create this plan. And it's really great to see the utility and stakeholders embracing this move to renewable energy. We just have a couple, questions along the edge that we want to work on. So, how about you, Caroline? What are you thinking about?
Well, I'm thinking about a lot of things. I know you have one more slide, so why don't we just...
Oh, yeah. So, from our standpoint, working together collaboratively really is the key, and it's really about all of these stakeholders, and you've heard this in the prior panel, all of these stakeholders working together and hitting on all cylinders to achieve these major goals. And it really is about the policy decisions that we make, and they're super important.
Thanks, Rocky, and I think that segues nice into where we see efficiency in the mix. And within that integrated grid plan that I'm sure will be referenced multiple times this conference, there is a significant role for energy efficiency. And just to give you a sense, a context, like 1,000 gigawatt hours is needed from efficiency between now and 2030. That is aligned with pretty much what our persisting savings from the Hawaii Energy programs is since the beginning, so for 13, 14 years, which means there's a lot of other places it can come from, but we see our responsibility as really driving access to efficiency and bringing down the load in the face of a lot of these needed changes. There's a few key areas that I think are critical. Leading in policy, Senator DeCoit and Representative Lowen are on next, and they're going to talk about their leadership, and we're really excited to continue to drive those wins. This year we had a win with appliance standards and a clean lighting bill. We also have to be ready to tap these federal funds. In particular, we're closely watching the HOMES rebate, which is the Home Energy Performance-Based Whole House Rebate. Say that 3 times fast. And then the also High Efficiency Electric Homes Rebates Act, the HERA rebates. Between these two programs, Hawaii is set to receive another $70 million in incentives to drive down the cost of heat pump water heaters and other energy saving appliances. But we're going to need to have a coordinated approach because there's a lot of rules that come down. There's an income qualification and things that need to be figured out, because we're not going to access people if we can't make this easy. We're going to need some fundamental shifts in our program design as well, especially as it relates to our metrics. Right now, we're phasing out of lighting as a program responsibility and really focusing on deeper energy retrofits, commissioning within buildings. These aren't one-off touches. This is ongoing, and it takes more effort. And the metrics don't necessarily align with a first-year kilowatt hour, which is what we've traditionally been measured on. This is thinking about the non-energy benefits that come from getting someone a new hot water heater. It's thinking about the need to change to different refrigerants, low global warming potential refrigerants. So these are all changes to how we have viewed efficiency within this framework for the last 14 years. And I do truly believe efficiency is going to need to be everywhere, but we're going to all need to be working on it together. And with that, our time is up. Your 15 minutes is over, but thank you very much. And we hope to take questions of anyone from the audience throughout the next 2 days. So thank you for your time.
Thanks, everyone.